Good morning, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Richard Anna back for your first video blog of the day for Friday, May 20th, 2016, around 7:43 in the morning in Billerica, Massachusetts. The sun is out. And it's going to be a warm day, highs around 70, 75 in the Merrimack Valley area. The weekend, Saturday, most of the day is going to be like decent, but at night and most of Sunday could be some heavy-duty rain. And next week, the first half of the week looks to be a little unsettled, but 80s by next weekend. Some news to report: the Cleveland Cavaliers crushed the Toronto Raptors to go up 2-0 in their series of the Eastern Conference Finals for the NBA. The series moves to Toronto for games 3 and 4, which could be the Cavaliers could dominate them again. And the San Jose Sharks beat the St. Louis Blues by the score of 3-0 last night to go up 2-1 in this Western Conference Finals for the Stanley Cup. For the Stanley Cup for the Western Conference, this is the closest the Sharks have been to the Stanley Cup, 2 games away. And that's about it on news. My first video blog subject of the day is the review of starrcade 1988, True Grit. This was from the Norfolk scope from Norfolk, Virginia, and the main event was for the NWA World Championship. Nature Boy Ric Flair facing off against Lex Luger, plus other matches. Calling the action was good old JR, Jim Ross, and Bob Cotto. And here are the matches. There was one dark match after the pay-per-view, which was the Junkyard Dog winning a 20-man bunkhouse battle royal, and he won $50,000. That was kayfabed. And here's the matches that happened on the pay-per-view. The first match was for the NWA United States Championship. It was Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Kevin Sullivan of the Varsity Club facing off against the Fantastics, Bobby Fulton, and Tommy Rogers, who were the NWA United States Tag Team Championships. This was a great match to start it off. 15 minutes, back and forth. Ending had Dr. Death throw Bobby Fulton into the ropes, giving him a stun gun move, and Dr. Death pinned Fulton for the 1, 2, 3, and Dr. Death and Kevin Sullivan are the new NWA United States Tag Team Champions. The next match was a grudge match between the Midnight Express, Beautiful Bobby Eaton, and Sweet Stan Lane with Jim Cornette facing off against the original Midnight Express, which was Loverboy Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose with Paulie Dangerously, and now it's Paul Heyman, like everybody's a Paul Heyman guy, but I'm a Julie Barton guy. Anyway, this started a feud. This feud started in November on an edition of World Championship Wrestling on TBS. The original Midnight Express attacked the Midnight Express after the match, and Jim Ross was saying, they don't work here, they don't work for WCW. And this was about a 17-minute match, kind of, back and forth. Ending had Stan Lane pinned Randy Rose, but afterwards, Dennis Condrey and Paulie Dangerously attacked Stan Lane and Jim Cornette, but Bobby Eaton took the tennis racket and cleared the ring of the heels. And both Midnight Express came out to the same music from the movie The Midnight Express. The next match was a tag team match. It was the Russian Assassins number 1 and number 2, which was played by Jack Victory and and Dave Shelton, who was the Angel of Death. They were match wrestlers, with Mr. 1 Paul Jones facing off against Ivan Koloff and the Junkyard Dog. It was originally going to be Ivan Koloff and Nikita Koloff, but Nikita Koloff quit the NWA around November of 1988 because of the direction of his character. He was going down into pointless low mid-card fields, and he didn't like that. So Ivan Koloff got his old friend the Junkyard Dog. That was so funny, because Ivan Koloff was a heel most of the time, and why would he ever? But Ivan Koloff turned face, and this was about a 6, and there was a special stipulation: if Koloff and JYD won, the Russian assassins would have to unmask, and Paul Jones would be gone from the NWA. And this was about a 6-minute match. The ending had Paul Jones throw a foreign object, load the mask of one of the Russian assassins, hits Ivan Koloff in the head with it, and Ivan Koloff goes down, and one of the Russian assassins pins Koloff for the 1, 2, 3. So the Russian assassins are saved from being unmasked, and Paul Jones stays in the NWA, but soon all of them would be gone. The next match was for the TV Championship, the NWA TV Championship. It was Captain Mike Rotunda, who was the NWA World TV Champion, representing the Varsity Club, facing off against the dog-faced gremlin Rick Steiner, with the special stipulation that Kevin Sullivan, the leader of the Varsity Club, would be high above the ring in a shark tank, mini steel cage, and it was an awesome match, back and forth. There was some interference from Dr. Death, Steve Williams. He rang the bell, thinking it was a time limit draw, but another referee came down saying that Dr. Death rang the bell, and Rick Steiner got the momentum. He knocked out Dr. Death, and then he pinned Mike Rotunda 1, 2, 3 to become the new NWA television champion. The next match was for the United States Championship. It was Bam Bam Bigelow with Sir Oliver Humperdinck facing off against Barry Windham, with J.J. Dillon in his corner, and Barry was the reigning United States Championship. It was an okay match. Ending had both wrestlers on the floor. Bam Bam goes for a splash on Windham on the turnbuckle post, but he hits his head. Windham rolls into the ring, and the referee counts Bam Bam out, and Barry retains the United States Championship by countout. The next match was for the NWA World Tag Team Championship. It was Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom, with Precious Paul Ellington facing off, defending their titles against Sting and the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. The Road Warriors turned heel in the fall of 1988 on Sting and Dusty Rhodes. They eventually became NWA World Tag Team Champions. Even though they were heels, the crowd was popping for them not like crazy, and kind of booing Dusty Rhodes out of the building. And also Sting got a lot of boos as well, which was that was not good, because Sting's one of the most popular wrestlers in the NWA. I think the fans never bought the Road Warriors as heels, even though they were heels. They still cheered them. And this was a decent match. Ending had Dusty Rhodes try to pin Hawk, but Precious Paul Elley comes in and interferes and causing the disqualification. Sting and Dusty won the match, but they don't win the tag team titles, because titles don't change hands on countouts or DQs. And then the main event was for the NWA World Championship. It was Nature Boy Ric Flair with J.J. Dillon in his corner, the NWA World Champion, facing off against the Total Package Lex Luger for the NWA World title, and this was Luger's final shot at the NWA World title. If he did not win it, he would not get another title shot again. And this was about an over 30-minute match. Like, Flair put the figure 4 leg lock on Luger, but Luger got out. Luger tried to get the torture rack, but he couldn't put it up on Flair. Ending of this match had Luger put Flair in figure 4, not the torture rack, but Luger's knees gave out, and Ric Flair pins Luger, and JJ Dillon holds Luger's legs down for the 1, 2, 3, and Ric Flair retains the NWA World Championship. And this ends Starrcade 1988. And this Starrcade was an average Starrcade. I give it a C. Like Luger and Flair main event was okay, but that was done at the Great American Bash, and they were wrestling at house shows, and they weren't getting a great reaction. And the Road Warrior Sting and Dusty match was decent, but the fans still cheered LOD as faces, even though they were heels. The rest of the card, there's some matches you could put on, like the main event of a Worldwide or Pro or WCW at that time, and it would be okay. And that's about it on that. Tomorrow will be my review of Starrcade 1989 Future Shock Iron Man, Iron Team from the Omni Atlanta. I'll be back later. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. 2 more video blogs coming your way. One will be about Root Sports, and the third and final video blog of the night personality profile. Tonight's personality profile will be about actress Abby Dalton. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie but a guy. Molly Roseblood of WCCO Roxanne has nice legs. Elizabeth Huthos, so stunning. She's the best. Amy Swansea's awesome. And Linda Church of WPIX TV New York has nice legs and is such a cougar. And in the words of the Patel last week, no bus by.